Secret meetings, military escorts, strange beings standing beside world leaders, like none of this was new. And if all this is true, then humanity may already be living alongside something we were never supposed to know about. Trump's visit to China came with some very unexpected guests, and here's something they definitely didn't put in the news. Tall gray aliens stood right, were there in the room like it was a normal thing. Elon Musk sat at the table, Xi Jinping was on the other side, and somehow everyone looked completely calm about the whole thing. Now, obviously we all know Trump doesn't like China, as they are the biggest competitors, but how did he suddenly agree to go there? Especially right after the announcement of extraterrestrial proof and footage went public. It has to be because of the aliens. The real deals between world powers might not be the ones we ever get to hear about. Declassified leak. When Trump released the declassified files for the public, most people thought that was everything. But this leaked footage told a different story. A full military operation was filmed in the middle of a desert with trucks, helicopters, armed soldiers, and black cars all surrounding a massive landed UFO. A man in a suit walked right up to a gray alien standing beside the craft like a planned meeting had been arranged. The public files gave people some answers, but this leak showed what was still being kept out of them. The real exchanges between humans and aliens were never part of any declassification. Area 51 secret.
To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know if I am, but...
They always said nothing was happening at Area 51, and then this showed up. Trump and Elon Musk walking casually through a full military base with a tall blue alien. Soldiers everywhere, radar towers in the back, and not a single person looks confused or alarmed. This was clearly not their first time. Area 51 has been the world's biggest open secret for decades. Turns out the conspiracy theorists were not wrong. They just didn't know how routine it had already become. Russian secret. Russia had this buried for decades, and somehow it finally got out. This black and white footage from the late 1990s shows aliens inside what is clearly a secret government facility, held by soldiers, examined by doctors in white coats, and strapped to machines with wires running across their bodies like test subjects. Nobody in the footage looks shocked or confused, which means this had been going on for a long time before anyone filmed it. Russia was not just aware of alien existence, they had them. The real question is what they were trying to find out. Secret society. A hidden camera on a waiter caught something nobody was ever supposed to see. These clips, dropped by an unknown source, show what looks like a secret society gathering, except the guests aren't human. Aliens, reptilians, and dark-robed figures sitting at a beachside table on a private island, eating and drinking like it's just another evening. Then inside, behind closed doors, they're going through documents and signing paper. No humans in sight, no press, no record, just beings that supposedly don't exist, making decisions that probably affect all of us. Area 51 aliens. This grainy black and white footage leaked from Area 51, and it is from the 1990s. It shows a gray alien sitting across from a human at a table, like a proper face-to-face conversation was happening. Outside, you can see the number 51 marked on a building wall with humans walking around the base like it was just another workday. This was a real operating facility, and aliens were living inside it. Alien partnership. What if the government never hid aliens because they were enemies, but because they were partners? Here you can see exactly that. Military generals sat going through papers and photographs with tall gray aliens standing right beside them, and in another shot they were together examining disc-shaped objects on a table like a business handover. Just two very different kinds of beings working through something they had clearly already agreed on. The real secret was never that aliens existed. The real secret was that humans had already made a deal with them. In charge alien. Deep inside a military hangar on an active desert base, this footage captured something that no official statement has ever come close to explaining. A tall gray alien stood among a group of suited men and soldiers, like it was leading the briefing itself, and every single person in that room just stood there and listened. The US military has programs the public will never fully know about, and at least one of them is clearly not being run by a human. Feeding alien. A German expert was filmed in a dark, unknown location, casually holding out a piece of raw meat to feed a gray alien like it was completely routine. The alien walked towards him, reaching out for the food without any fear or aggression, just moving naturally like it had been fed this way before.
To eat this whole thing.
The man was calm and relaxed the whole time, no protective gear. This was not a first meeting. The comfort level between this man and that alien made it clear they had spent a lot of time together in that dark location. Policymakers. This footage from the 1960s showed gray aliens in metallic suits, already deep inside a government office, standing at the desk, while politicians and military officials crowded around them, reviewing documents like a session that had been running for years. The decisions made inside rooms, like that one, shaped decades of history, and not a single one of them was made by humans alone. Reptilians meeting. Of all the secret meeting footage that has surfaced, this one hits differently. A man in a full suit walked into an ancient temple filled with massive stone statues and shook hands with a robed figure, and when the camera zoomed in, the face was completely reptilian. Scaly, lizard-like, dressed in ancient white and gold robes, like they never left whatever era built those walls. Other men in suits stood quietly in the background like they had been briefed on exactly what to expect. Reptilians were always called the biggest conspiracy theory of them all. This footage made that theory look like a very well-kept secret. Alien departure. This clip shows what appears to be a military base in the middle of a desert, and hovering just above the ground is a massive, dark, triangular craft with blue lights running along its edges. A group of soldiers and personnel stand beneath it. But what catches your eye in the second shot is the figure standing slightly apart from the rest, tall, thin, and clearly not human, walking toward the craft as it hovers overhead. Just a calm and almost ceremonial send-off. The craft, the alien, the soldiers, all standing there like this, was a scheduled departure. Alien outside. A man in Mexico heard strange noises outside his house late at night, but did not go to check. The next morning, he looked at his trail camera footage and could not believe what was on it. A tall gray alien was standing right outside his house in the dark, looking around like it was lost or confused about where it was. It stayed for a little while and then quietly left on its own. Nobody knows where it went after that. It was not aggressive, just showed up, looked around, and disappeared into the night. Scary encounter. A hiker moving through the dense jungle of Peru had no idea what was standing just feet away. Beside a tree was a creature unlike anything documented before, reddish-brown, bipedal, with a reptilian head and a lean, unsettling frame. Not human or any animal native to that jungle. The hiker managed to capture it on camera before quietly slipping away unnoticed. One wrong move, and that encounter ends very differently. Something is living deep in those jungles that shouldn't exist. Unexpected encounter. A group of friends out in a snowy area came across a dark, strange body lying in the snow, assuming it wasn't alive. When they got closer and the camera zoomed in, the face was visible. A dark-skinned alien with a long face and deep-set eyes lying there completely still. But as they kept filming, it started showing signs of life, moving slightly like it was barely conscious. It had clearly been through something very bad, and ended up alone in the snow with no way to get help. Unexpected catch. A man in Brazil was near a stream by the woods when he noticed something walking along the bank that did not look human at all. He quickly started filming, and the footage showed a thin gray alien walking upright along the stream, completely on its own, moving through the area like it knew exactly where it was going. It had the same large head and thin body that people always describe when they talk about alien encounters. It just kept walking along that stream, and disappeared into the trees. Alien checkup. This footage showed a gray alien up close, being examined by a doctor inside what looked like a very clean and controlled medical room. The camera got close enough to see the alien's large, dark eyes and rough gray skin in detail before pulling back to show a gloved hand pressing a small device against its chest, like a routine medical check. The alien was still and calm the whole time, like it was used to being examined this way. This was an organized medical checkup. Romanian mystery. A group of men in a Romanian village were out when they saw a pale and strange crouched on a dirt hill right in front of them. The creature was thin, and moved in a way that no person or animal moves, bent forward on the slope, just staring back at them. The men got out and the confrontation spooked it enough to send it running back over the hill and into the woods behind the village. Nobody in that village knew what it was. Nobody came to investigate. And the woods it disappeared into were right on the edge of where those people lived every day. Egypt mystery. This was filmed inside a very dark and secret place that looks like it was built to look like ancient Egypt. Tall, blue-headed aliens in white robes walked in and shook hands with the Egyptians' authorities, like this was a normal, planned meeting. Ancient Egyptian statues were right there on the walls around them. Then the human and the alien walked deeper inside together. Egypt has always had mysteries nobody could explain. The pyramids, the symbols, and maybe the reason is that aliens were always connected to it from the very beginning. Alien protection. Another secret footage has been shared online from an unknown source and has puzzled every viewer. Here you can see a tall, pale alien walking between soldiers on both sides, completely surrounded like it was being given a secure escort through the trees. And then, a tiny, small gray alien was also being held by both hands by two men in long coats, carefully walking through the woods like they were making sure it stayed safe. Russian authorities were protecting both of them and moving them through secret locations without anyone finding out. Alien body. In a small village in Mexico, locals gathered around something lying on the ground in a field at night that nobody could explain. It was a small alien body with big black eyes, lying flat on the dry grass while people shone their phone lights on it. Everyone was shocked because nothing like this had ever landed in their village before. The authorities came and took the body away quickly. After that, no news, no update was ever given. The moment the government got involved, everything went completely silent. Mysterious being? A group of friends near the woods in Mexico stumbled onto something near a small hidden lake that left them completely speechless. A pale, thin figure was standing in the water, bent forward like it was drinking or pulling something out of it. The moment it realized it was being watched, it bolted straight into the trees and vanished in seconds. The friends stood there, not knowing what they had just seen. Those woods are hiding something, and now there is footage to prove it. Alien rescued. An explorer walking through the desert in Peru came across a crashed UFO half buried in the sand, and right beside it was a gray alien lying on the ground looking completely lifeless. He went closer and gave it water, and the alien slowly opened its eyes and started to move. It was still alive. The explorer saved its life that day. But now, UFO was wrecked, and the alien was stranded on a planet that was probably not supposed to be its last stop. Backyard intruder. A man in Texas looked out into his backyard at night and found something crouching in the grass near the bushes that had no business being there. A pale, gray alien bent over on all fours, moving slowly through the yard like it was searching for something on the ground. It had the large, dark eyes and thin, long arms that made it impossible to call anything other than what it was. It was not aggressive, just focused on whatever it was looking for, then left with a mystery as if it had never been there. Strange encounter. A local man in a small town in Brazil recorded this footage back in 2009 of a dark, thin figure walking slowly towards the woods at the edge of his town. The figure had a large, round head, very long, thin legs, and moved in a way that no person walks. It was not running or hiding, just casually moving towards the trees, like it had a destination in mind. The man filmed it from a distance, and the whole town talked about it for a long time after. Camper encounter. A camper out in Texas was setting up for the night when he caught something crouched at the corner of a wall in the dark, staring straight at the camera. The creature had wrinkled pale skin, a large wide face, and glowing red eyes that shifted to black. It was pressed against the wall like it had been hiding there watching for a while. It did not attack or move towards him. It just crouched there staring with those unsettling eyes, before eventually slipping away into the dark. Whatever it was, it knew it had been seen, and it chose to leave on its own terms. Alien struggle. A hiker in Brazil was making his way through rocky terrain when he looked down and saw something that stopped him completely. A group of blue-gray aliens were gathered at the entrance of a cave, all working together to carry a massive dark rock inside. The rock was huge, and clearly too heavy for any ordinary reason to be moved like that. If aliens were going through the effort of carrying it underground, that rock was no ordinary rock. There was something about it that made it worth moving. The hiker was not ready to stick around and find out what that was, so he left. Alien crash. Locals in a small village in Pakistan woke up to find a crashed UFO right in the middle of their town, with smoke still coming off it. Right beside it was an alien body, flat on the dirt, while the whole village gathered around, trying to understand what had just landed in their streets. Nobody had any idea what it was or where it came from. The authorities arrived, took everything away, and from that day forward, not a single update was ever given to those villagers or anyone else.
हमारे गांव में आज लगभग 2 बजे ये यूफो गिरा है और ये एलियन तब का ही बेहोश है.
Ozark Lake mystery. A camper out at Ozark Lake had his camera out when he noticed 2 dark aliens standing in the water. They were spread apart in the lake, both focused on the water around them like they were searching for something specific beneath the surface. They had no idea anyone was watching and just kept going through the water completely unbothered. The lake was quiet, and the camper stayed back and kept filming. Whatever those 2 were looking for in that lake, they came there together with a plan, and the water was hiding something they clearly already knew about. Alien base. What was caught on camera at a fully operational military base has left people with serious questions. A tall, thin, gray figure, possibly an alien being, was recorded walking calmly alongside a U.S. Army soldier on the base grounds, moving with complete ease.
No puede ser.
As if it had been there 100 times before. The soldier didn't hesitate, just kept walking like nothing was out of the ordinary. That reaction, or rather the complete absence of one, is what sent this clip viral. Were personnel on that base simply trained to stay composed, or had they grown so familiar with this presence that it no longer warranted a second look?
¿Es real?
Extraterrestrial basketball. An alien playing basketball with soldiers is not something your brain is prepared to make sense of. Yet that is exactly what this Reddit clip shows. A non-human figure on a court inside a fenced area, moving with the ball alongside armed personnel like it was just another pickup game. It handles the ball with ease, keeps up with the interaction, and nobody around it seems fazed in the slightest. These are trained soldiers, and they are just casually shooting hoops with something that is clearly not from this planet. Trail alien. A trail camera set up deep in the woods in Brazil captured this on its own, with nobody around to see it happen. A pale alien was crouched low on the ground in the middle of the night, digging through the leaves and dirt like it was either hiding something or searching for something it had left there before. Whatever that alien was doing in those woods at that hour was private enough that it made sure no human was around to see it. But the alien had no idea the camera was there, and just kept going through the ground, completely focused. Secret footage. This clip surfaced on social sites with zero explanation and immediately broke the internet. Allegedly a leaked file from inside a government facility. The black and white footage shows an extreme close-up of a face that is clearly not human. The skull is dome-shaped, the eye sockets cavernous, and the skin rough and uneven. The whole appearance is like an alien, and there are too many questions, but no clear answers. Locked alien. This footage was filmed inside what looked like a high-security government facility where an alien was being kept inside a sealed containment unit. A worker wearing black gloves was seen sliding food through a small opening in the chamber door, and through the round glass window the alien's face was visible inside. Close to the glass in a blue-lit chamber. The alien was not free, and was clearly being kept and fed by whoever ran that facility. Nobody knows which government was behind this, or where in the world this building was. Alien interrogation. In 1996, footage from inside Area 51 made its way into the public eye. The clip showed a living gray alien inside an interrogation room. The craft it arrived in was claimed to have been shot down in 1989. Rocket Pictures released it through a documentary in 1997. Researcher Michael Heseman linked it to a South African Air Force report documenting a downed craft in the Kalahari Desert that same year, with one survivor allegedly transferred to Area 51. Alien encounter. Deep in the woods of California, a man came face to face with something he was never going to forget. Standing among the trees was a gray alien, tall and slender, wearing what appeared to be a dark, structured suit. It wasn't aggressive or threatening. At one point, it even raised its hand and waved, almost as if it was trying to communicate calmly. But the man panicked and ran. Whatever this being wanted from that encounter, it never got the chance to show it. And somewhere in those California woods, it was left standing there alone. Unexpected arrival. A woman was heading into the woods for a camping trip when something at the tree line stopped her right there. Standing between the trees was a tall, slender gray figure, elongated and unnaturally thin, with long arms and a frame that looked nothing like any human or animal she could have expected to see out there. It just stood there, among the birch trees, like it had been watching long before she noticed it. She never made it into those woods. The footage she captured before leaving tells you exactly why. Trapped alien. A hiker in Colorado noticed a small gap between the rocks on a mountain and got close to look inside. Staring back from the darkness was a small alien with giant black eyes, pressed right up against the opening, like it had been stuck in there for a long time. Then it slowly reached its hand out through the gap like it was asking for help. The hiker was not ready for any of that and ran. Whatever had trapped that alien inside those rocks had left it with no way out on its own, and the one person who found it was too terrified to stay. Unidentified creature. A farmer in Mexico was out in his fields at night when he came across something strange crouching in the grass. The creature was pale, small, and hairless, with giant white eyes and an open mouth like it had just been startled. It was running here and there as if lost. The farmer had walked those fields his whole life and never seen anything close to this before. Whatever this creature was, it was not an animal. Hidden alien. A man heard strange noises coming from his backyard late at night and went out to check what was going on. When he looked into the dark, he caught a gray alien in the yard, like it was trying to get away fast. It had clearly been spotted, and then it escaped from his yard. What it was doing in that backyard before it was disturbed is the part nobody has an answer to. Alien interview. This leaked footage showed an actual interview with a gray alien sitting in front of a camera and speaking directly to whoever was in that room. The alien was talking, and at the bottom of the footage, the words translated to indiscernible collapses. Do you understand?
Are you a descendant of humans or not?
Like it was trying to warn about something very serious coming. It was not angry or aggressive, just calm and direct, like it had important information and wanted to make sure the message was understood.
I ask you again, how was the universe created?
Mysterious creature. A man heading to his car in a parking area late at night was not expecting company. Crouched on top of the boundary wall above him was a pale, thin creature with glowing eyes that locked onto him the moment he got close. It just sat there, perched on the edge of that wall, staring directly at him. Then it jumped down from the wall and disappeared into the night. The whole thing lasted seconds. The man had no explanation for what he had just seen, and no frame of reference to even begin making sense of it. Alien meeting. This old footage showed two gray aliens walking slowly side by side through a dark corridor, like they owned whatever building they were in. Both had the same large, rounded heads, thin necks, and narrow frames, moving at a calm and steady pace with no rush at all. They were not hiding, not running, just walking together like two beings who knew exactly where they were going. Whoever filmed this kept it documented for a reason, and this corridor was inside a location that was never meant to be made public. Alien stalker. A homeowner in Peru checked his security camera footage and found something pressed up against his ground floor window. A pale face with oversized dark eyes and a large rounded head, exactly like an alien, was right there at the glass, just staring into the house. It did not try to get in, it just stood at that window in the dark and looked inside. Peru has always been the center of alien history, and whatever showed up at that window that night made sure that reputation was well earned. Alien in-house. March 5th, 2005, 3:10 in the morning. A guy woke up to something moving in his kitchen and grabbed his camera before going to check. He walked through the house slowly, filming as he looked around trying to figure out where the noise had come from. Then he turned to the window and a gray alien was standing right on the other side of the glass, looking straight back at him.
Is that? Holy shit.
The second it realized it had been seen, it vanished, completely gone, with no sound and no sign of where it went.
Where the fuck did it go? Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Strange sister during a camera hidden on a waiter recorded every second of something the world was never supposed to see. Inside a grand chandelier lit hall with long dining tables and a full bar, gray aliens and green reptilian beings sat together in black suits, eating, drinking, and socializing like this was their version of a gala dinner. No humans in charge, no government officials running the night, just beings from places unknown gathered together in a location nobody has been able to identify. Whatever decisions get made at a dinner table like that one, they are made very far above anything the public ever gets to vote on.